The Financial Services Board estimates that more than 40 billion rand in pension funds remain unclaimed. This is an increase from 34 billion rand a year ago. Now, this amount of around 41.7 billion appears to be a conservative estimate of unclaimed monies. The Chamber of Mines estimates that 3 billion rand is due to former mine workers, and the amount of unclaimed and unpaid government employees' pension funds is unclear. Now, these unclaimed benefits are held in investment vehicles who are supposed to find beneficiaries. The Financial Services Board has said that a lack of information to employees, poor record keeping and lackluster tracing efforts were some of the reasons for unclaimed pensions. Rosemary Hunter and Richard Mokolo join me in studio for more on this issue. First, perhaps I'll start with you. Tell us about the campaign around the issue of unclaimed pension benefits.
Yeah, I think people, they try to organize themselves after they've been struggling to access this money. They've been heard that there is surplus, there is pension. They tried all the corners to access this money. But at the end, they came together from different companies to try to force FSB to release the money, to the extent that some of the NGOs came on board, like my organization. I'm working as a paralegal from the Advice Center for Human Rights in Orange Farm. People were coming in numbers to our office seeking assistance, how to get this money. And we try to get more information from other organizations like trade unions, but there was no answer. Until we get other NGOs who are dealing more with social justice issues, dealing with Socio-Economic Rights Institute. Now we seek more support from them. Organizations like Right to Know, ILRIC, Black Sash, COW, Casual Workers Advice Center. Now we came together to form up a campaign to force FSB and the other administrators like Liberty Life, Sanlam, Old Mutuals, all the administrators that are sitting with this money. Because people are there, we disagree with the question of people are not claiming. People, they need to know where they can claim their money.
Perhaps, Rosemary, I can bring into the conversation. Part of the campaign that you're involved with says that there's people with vested interests in making sure that beneficiaries don't get their money, which is what we've just heard. How true is that, and what evidence, if any, is there to that effect?
I don't know that you can say there's evidence, but the money has been sitting and growing dramatically for years and years and years. A lot of the administrators and the funds themselves, because in fact most of the funds, most of the unpaid benefits are sitting in funds that are ongoing, that are getting contributions from their current members and so on. So you have to wonder why the numbers are growing and continuing to grow at such a terrible rate. And frankly, there just seems to be apathy towards people that, you know, these funds are behaving like insurance companies. You've got to come and bang on the door to get your money. Whereas in fact, a pension fund, its job is to pay benefits. They should be going and finding people. And from the work of their campaign, they go onto a community radio station, announce there's going to be a mass meeting. 3 days later, there are 3,000 people on a dusty football field in Sebokeng. They can find people if they try hard enough. I've heard the same thing from people who've been tracing people in Angola, Mozambique. They say if you try hard enough, you can find people. And so that's part of the message, is that a lot more effort has to be made and a lot more central coordination, I think.
What's your experience been when you do find these people who come to mass meetings and perhaps help them through the process of trying to claim? What's that experience?
It is easy to find the people. People are there, and people, they come together. There are people who are meeting for the past 15 years discussing about this money. And it is known that people are meeting every time. People are trying to get their money, because this belongs to them. And we just organize a public meeting. We called for a public meeting. People, they're responding in numbers. You just go to the community radio station, you announce the meeting, people, they come in numbers.
So then perhaps can I ask, what's the hold-up? Why are people not accessing that over 40 billion rand of pension funds then?
This can be answered to FSB and the other administrators.
Okay, we
they
have
are the ones who
requested
can
them to
respond
come.
to that.
We have requested them to come in, so perhaps we will keep the story going for a little bit longer.
But I think that one of the things that the campaign is doing, and I'm just helping, is to train community volunteers to go and collect the information, collect the documents. You know, sometimes people can't afford to go to town to get a fax, to a fax machine or to an internet cafe. So that's a big part of the campaign, is training community volunteers to help people, because when you've got no money, it's really hard to claim as well, because there's a whole lot of infrastructure you require.
Perhaps I can ask for someone watching who wants to claim or wants to see if they have any benefits due to them. What's the process that they follow, and how do they avoid getting scammed? Because we're also hearing about people who make money from the promise of getting money from this.
We are aware of the scams, and people are paying a lot of money. They are losing, they are being robbed a lot of money. Now what we do, as Rosemary spoke about the volunteers, we are providing this service for free, advising people, and we also manage to get the forms and try to check what is needed from the application forms. Now this is how we get people to organize themselves without paying any cent.
I think it's quite important. One of the good things that the FSB has done, and I do think hasn't done really enough, but one of the good things it has done is create a database. So if you can go onto the Financial Services Board website and put in your ID number, and it might tell you that there, it obviously doesn't guarantee it, but it might say there might be something for you at that fund, and there's a contact number. It's no guarantee, and they don't say how much and so on, but it is a useful starting point.
Thank you very much for your time. Rosemary Hunter, Richard Makolo are speaking to us there about those unclaimed benefits. We will continue the story and, as we said, try and speak to the FSB now.